I'm on to my second one now because, you know, quality control. Maybe the first one was bad. Like, I need to make sure that it's good with the second one. Hey guys, Shelby Smith with Jiminy Crickets. Today I'm showing you how to make one of my absolute favorite cricket treats. Super easy to make, crowd pleasing, gluten-free, which is awesome. Cricket Crispies. Yeah. So these are super easy to make and only take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients. So here are the ingredients. First, you need 12 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which is a stick and a half of unsalted butter. You need 2 10-ounce bags of marshmallows. They can be minis, they can be big ones. It's whatever, you're gonna be melting them anyway. You need 1 teaspoon of vanilla, half a teaspoon of salt, half a cup of cricket powder, 4.5 cups of regular crispy rice cereal. So this is just the plain ones. This is a gigantic bag because I'm making a lot of these. And 4 cups of the chocolate version of the crispy rice cereal. The Cocoa Dino Bites are the ones that I got, again, in the gigantic bag because I'm making a lot of them. Okay, so first things first, you are going to first things first is you make sure that you line a 9 by 13 pan with some aluminum foil, and then take your half a stick of butter, and don't tear up the wrapper too much, but then you're just gonna lightly, lightly grease the foil so that your bars don't get terribly stuck on the pan. That should be good enough. Voila. All right, so next we are going to melt all of the butter. Struggle. Melt all of the butter on medium heat. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my burner on to medium heat. So we're gonna let that melt. Do not throw these away. You are going to use them later. Don't throw your butter wrappers away. Hold onto them. So once everything is melted on the butter side, turn the heat off, and then we are gonna add a half a teaspoon of salt, like so. And then we're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, like so. I'm gonna mix that together. Next thing, after your vanilla and your salt are all in there and mixed up, so you reserve about 2 cups of the marshmallows from the 2 10-ounce bags, and then take the rest of the 2 bags of marshmallows and dump them into the butter mix. Go ahead and turn your heat back on to the medium setting, and then you are going to cook those and stir them until all of the marshmallows are creamy and melted. Next step before we mix in the cereal is to add a half a cup of the 100% cricket powder. So we're just gonna dump that right in there and then stir it up until it is evenly mixed. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off while I'm doing this because we don't need the heat on anymore. So we're stirring it up, making sure that the cricket powder is evenly distributed within our marshmallow and butter mix, just like this. And then now we're gonna remove it from the heat completely, and we are going to add our cereal mix. So this is the regular crispy rice and the Cocoa Crispies. We're gonna mix both of them in here, and we're gonna stir them up until the cereal and the marshmallow mix are evenly coated. So I highly recommend you use a rubber spatula for this. It becomes a sticky situation quite quickly. And this part gets fairly messy. So the bigger your pot you're working with, the better, I think, for this part and all of it. And you want to make sure you're using a really sturdy bottomed pot so that you don't end up burning your butter and eventually the marshmallow mix and everything else. And if you need to do all of this at a lower heat so that you prevent any sort of burning or anything like that, that's okay too. It might end up taking you a little bit longer, but it's a lot better than burning all of the main ingredients and having to start over. So, by all means, definitely use a lower temperature if you must. And I think that we are pretty well coated on these. So, I am going to move locations and I will show you how I press them in the pan. Remember what I said about the butter wrappers. Hopefully you did not throw them away. And here's a close-up of what the mixture looks like once it's been nice and evenly distributed. So now we've got our mixture, we've got our greased pan, and we have our butter wrappers. So what you're gonna do is go ahead and dump out as much as you can get out of the pan. I do realize that it is very sticky and this can be somewhat of a difficult task. You can kind of pile them in the middle if you want to. Try and kind of evenly spread them out as you're putting them in the pan. It might make it easier for this next step, which I entirely forgot about. Crisis averted, one step that I totally forgot. Hold on, completely forgot. And they were staring right at me. So we have these reserve marshmallows. Go ahead and dump those in your mixture. Your mixture is still hot. Your mixture is still warm. Go ahead and mix these marshmallows throughout. They will help add some gooiness. I think this is really the difference between like regular Rice Krispies that you get and what makes these really good. I mean, obviously in addition to the cricket powder, which I think adds just such a nice malty taste, but I think this step makes them extra gooey, and I almost completely forgot about it. But luckily, I had my nice grease pan, so they came right out of there, and no harm, no foul. So, like I said, some of those will melt, some of them will be big chunks of marshmallow left. It's great. Don't skip that step, like I just did. Try this again, round 2. Into the pan is, we are going to take our butter wrappers. This is why we kept them, because they are already naturally greased and help get some of the sticky off, and so that it does not stick to your hands completely. So that is what we're going to do. And when the grease runs out on this little one, which it tends to run out pretty quickly because there's small surface area, and we're going to switch to the bigger one. But this is what you use rather than your rubber spatula. This is what you use to spread your treats into the pan and help press them down. All right, so this one's starting to get a little sticky, so I'm going to switch to the other one. And the other key to making these super ooey gooey and not too dense is do not pack them down too hard. When you pack them down really hard as they dry, or as they set up, I should say, cool down perhaps is a better description, that's when they start to get too dense and you get the really chewy, really kind of hard Rice Krispie treats. So the key with this one is don't press them down too hard because that makes them too dense. And voila. So now we're gonna leave these guys for half an hour to an hour so they can cool down and mold into the pan. And then we're gonna cut them. And then obviously I have to taste test them because just in case, quality control and all of that. Once your Crispies have had time to set up, like I said, 45 minutes to an hour, go ahead and use the aluminum foil, pull them out, and put them on your cutting board. I'm gonna move this stuff off of here. And then you're gonna cut them into 24 squares-ish, kind of squares. So the way I recommend doing this is cut one down the middle, cut one down the middle, and then do your additional cuts. So one down the middle, and truly, like, these never end up even, but like, we get close enough. Like that, you have 24 Cricket Crispies ready to go. And here is what that final crispy looks like. Ooey gooey. If you didn't tell somebody just from the appearance that there were crickets in them, they would have absolutely no idea, which is awesome. And then it's as if I made this entire video so that I would have to eat one. Surely not, right? They are seriously so good. Like, I know I'm not just saying that because I made them, and obviously what I make is good. I really like regular Rice Krispies, but these have that little something extra, I know, in the form of crickets, but they're just a more robust flavor. I think you should definitely try them. You will not regret that. Trust me. And because I know the question is going to come up quite a bit, excuse me with my mouth full of treat, there end up being about 20 crickets per treat. So 20 crickets or so in one of these Rice Krispie treats basically makes them health food as far as I'm concerned. So awesome.